Hey everybody, it is August 22nd, 2007. I am Sonic Sons. I'm doing another little philosophical analogy story thing called The Blind Man and the Moon. And it goes like this. Two men were walking in the night. One of them could see, and the other was blind. The seeing man looked up and said, "The moon is very beautiful tonight." And the blind man said, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" The seeing man said, Well, the moon. It's this great light that hangs in the air, this great object in the sky." And the blind man says, "Well, how do you know it's there?" "I can see it," said the seeing man. "Well, of course you can see it," said the blind man. "But how am I to know that it's really there?" "Well, I told you." "Well, yes," said the blind man, "but you could be lying. Or perhaps you are delusional and you have made this up. I cannot believe something until I receive evidence." "Fair enough," said the seeing man, "but what evidence shall I give you?" And the blind man said, "Well, I cannot see anything, but perhaps I could touch the moon instead." "No," said his friend, you can't touch the moon. I don't think anyone's ever even tried." "Well," said the blind man, "perhaps I could hear the moon." "No, you can't do that either." "Well, surely I could smell it or taste it or know of its presence by some other means." The seeing man thought, and he said to himself, "No. It's only through sight that I know that the moon exists." "But how am I to know the moon exists?" said the blind man. "How am I to know that you are not lying or delusional in some regard? Only logic, all logic I can think of, makes me believe that the moon has not been proven to exist." And the seeing man said, "Well, logically that would make sense of you to believe that. But I can see, and I see the moon quite often, and that's plenty of evidence, and logically I must believe in it. And I think you should too." "But," said the blind man, "well, again, how am I to trust you? How am I to know you are accurate? You've not shown me any evidence at all." And the seeing man said, "Well, yes, but it seems we have quite a paradox here. Logically, I should believe in the existence of the moon, and logically you should not." "Yes," said the blind man, "I do see your point." And this is a thing which applies to all sorts of noncommunicable evidence, if you will. There's a lot of things we could objectively look at and agree on. And of course, if you go back into the metaphor, you could say, well, if the blind man talked to many seeing people, perhaps that would collectively be proof, or perhaps you could measure the flow of the tides, or then again, maybe the tides are flowing of their own free will. Who knows that there's a moon involved? But it happens in a lot of cases where we experience things, we can see certain evidence, but we can't always communicate the evidence, can we? This goes into the cases of, let's say, emotional issues, right? And one person may say, well, I think that this new job I'm going to get, is very interesting. I think it's good for me overall. And another person says, well, no, I think it seems rather boring. I think it's pretty bad for you. You should get a better job. You should get something more exciting. But no, I think it's fine. No, I think it's not. No, I think... And suddenly you have a problem here. Suddenly, how can we communicate the evidence of my own internal emotional state to tell you whether or not I'm actually seriously having as much fun as I could have here? How can we describe what other jobs might be like? How can we... Here's another one. Religion. There's a tricky one there. Because, I believe that religion has helped me a lot. Or spirituality, let's say, right? And of course I'll make the obvious point that religion can do bad things too. Not all religions, not all aspects of all religions are right. Even parts of Christianity can be utterly wrong. I mean, look at the freaking Crusades, for instance, right? But not getting into that topic. But my own spirituality has helped me in my life, and it's made things much better. And I know this because I've experienced it. And I go back through all my memories and all my feelings and all my... Yes, it's helped me. It's helped me a great deal. But if I talk to an atheist, and I try and tell them that apparently there's something to religion. There must be some part of it that's true because it's helped me so much. I can't prove that it's helped me so much. The atheist will say, well, perhaps you are lying. Or perhaps you are delusional. Or perhaps you are all these things. And logically, I can see why I'd make that conclusion. How is he to know that, that things are really better? At the same time, I can't just say, well, they must not be better because I have this own evidence to myself that I see, that he doesn't see. Because as far as this metaphor is concerned, he's the blind man. And of course, in plenty of other instances, I may be the blind man. Where I can't see this other evidence that someone supposedly has. Right? The point of this parable is not to say you should believe anyone's claims. Right? Because the seeing man could quite possibly be lying. We know, of course, the moon exists, but he could invent other things. He goes, oh, look, there goes a flying saucer. Trust me on this one. And maybe he's lying, or delusional, or whatever, right? But it's a weird paradox for the seeing man when he does see something, trying to explain it to the blind man, and he's got no communicable evidence. Evidence, it's just something that only he experiences. And things get weird around there. So how do you know? So how do you really know what's going on? Really, things that I don't know. It's rather complicated. I don't have anything particularly grand from that, but it's an interesting parable which I've applied to many situations. Thanks for watching. See you later.